ECG story no, the reason why at the NPP they don't want us to talk about ECG. Containers ayira ECG equipment. On say now say videos be around. Manfo who say ECG cables. Yako dampen wo in sawem aduejiri. Annor Dompreh. Mameka bibi nchemo. Annor Dompreh sa nyoma na muhu no ne constituency nya ne dia. Tie. Sa ECG equipment cables poles. Now before me dem be kwa ECG story no. Me pese me bie mo adwunim na muhu bibi first. Now muntie Kennedy Japan time okọ PZ ko kasa muntie ne ye pa. Oka ECG nsembi. Ye wi abebuta question na afi ma kire mo ECG no. Omo bɔ mo krono no. The reason why MPP for one person make ECG no ho asem. The reason why Afenyo Markin has stayed away from the ECG matter. Anything Afenyo Markin gina parliament can say, yen nyina yenya ba ko ne solve ECG problem. No. Omo wi amo no, omo wi Ghana no MPP for. Na omo me enko back kakra. Na yen tie Kennedy Japan okọ PZ no, oka bibi fa ECG. Ensam ho, pulse ho, me wi amebie wani wade bi ho.
Suppose na mo pen any cables wires amode begusu a very simple. Ye ni abemu enso metimi ama Ministry of Energy as supply mo sa cables in street light. Me kwa me warehouse. No matter suppose you know me will be gua. As for street light in here, my friend me a setting some street light. It may call no matter warehouse. So even I go. So me here. So me here next Ministry of Energy ebe cha. Me ankasa meto post no e de abram enti se sikana me de bae no se ne amo akire magnenti e wa abrantie wo minso gaji ye diskane be ye adwuma me no eto e hye me bottom se si a temptation e be ba me
now Kennedy call PZ no o kan sembi o say suppose any cables na mo pa any the easy any din kra easy job. In fact, now buy ni power. Nanso obetumi afa ways be my Minister of Energy no at the poles any cables ni bia bromo. Nempo se minister ne kra ka se onya ono ankasa our warehouse our poles any cables gum. In fact, o se wa check it or you very sure say street light there obebregu. Kennedy Japan. Remember, ne lawyer ne Afenyo Markin. Afenyo Markin on a board chair of ECG. Now, Kennedy Japan, in the past, your man a contract to supply electricity lights. Street lights. Ever since there, we are yet to see the full complement of Nyoma supply. Ever since there, Kennedy Japan Jessica on a company ni Jessica. Ever since there, the supplying of those street lights no ever since there you. Now, an MP who is not the Minister of Energy comes to tell you, say, our warehouse ECG posts gum, our warehouse street lights gum, and that he will be going to bring those poles and street lights. Mumusa Kennedy Japan say, your man yere any or no contract say on supply street lights no, or to me supplier na, dabi. Yenye street lights now on supply no ene ohana. In fact, the poles now say a good warehouse. Any street lights in a good warehouse no. Ye busan said okotoya for dien ehina onya no. Our ECG contract be na yes, our millions of ECG contractor may they be very soon. You see, these people they have played on your conscience and done everything to indirectly taken from you without you people knowing. Also, and the onwangaza general catcher must say, poles, street lights, any sign your manyamano, or will be. Now the question is, Yanim the chrome, asem dumpim, light a kurabino. That means the street light na egu no, poles na egu no. Ya pese Kennedy Japan kyerɛ baby okoto ni nyina free ye. Ya pese o kyerɛ baby a onya sa light ni nyina. Now, sa video na mo hu na mama ko hu eye cables, any poles e won nsawe mu no. Eye Annor Dompreh na me be kyerɛ the connection. Annor Dompreh work with this stolen containers. Any the role I will play in these stolen containers, any ECG materials. On sa video way, it's making it's on circulation on social media. Watch this video very well. Sign your mama copy no Annor Dompreh constituency in the war.
No, not be a buy a honey intina. And a pedia. I say it to me, but never one more shiny. Because
Morgana.
Mecca just Papa and Bobra. Papa and Bobra, and so Papa. Do say an echo so. Yeah. Enti area mo nipa kwantia. Nipa antia enti omo da sa na ma we nyina koso omo hu no mo report na nkofo antake action. Ah.
So big company no run.
Pay on the site in the soup. And they go to Gano. We will go on.
Exposé. This time 2024. It's a fresh crowd.
Ah, fresh crowd. Fresh crowd.
And yes, sir, I started blue with Badia. People will pass her. But if you say you'll be camping.
Oh, yeah.
Also, to me, found some funny machine never found. And I will be
so Annor Dompreh constituency post we Annor Dompreh there. Now me be show how we are ECG cables, street lights, posts. Remember, Peter Mbe Ube kachire say abain MPP abain Emma Kennedy Japan a street light contract 100 million or supply one supply he kept it. Amewuna Bekaje said they gave Kennedy Japan, ECG ma Kennedy Japan, 100 million contracts, street lights. It's under Kennedy Bejina PZ. No, catch them say, our street lights be breguo, our poles be breguo. They know what they are telling you. Because ECG street light belongs to the government of Ghana. It's Kennedy Japan. Contractor, the man, no, was he able to supply all the poles and street lights? No. And it's not oye bold okojina PZ. Me was street lights go. In fact, my friend me warehouse egum. Must say be abremo. Because ECG, they were running it as friends. Now I'm make sure the link. At the Kudientia, you see these people, the MPP are quiet on the ECG matter. And it's not Afenyo Markin, Kasongo 99. Until say what can ECG assembly BM una de crow. He is guilty. investigations they know some of them. ECG are the way. The time of movie investigations, so the NPP will not have a front in parliament. The NPP in parliament, they will not have a front. That is the reason why the NPP minority in parliament, they have moved away from the ECG issue. Argentina NPP and your press conference kakraka about the ECG. So NDC is accusing them of something. Why do you think they have stayed away from the ECG matter? Argentina NPP phone ECG no. Argentina, they have stayed away from the conversation. It is because they know that their main men are the ones who committed the crime. Now, let's go into the books. You see this. And the strategy they put together, and it's what study Annor Dompreh on can ECG no one semubium. On can one some cry. But Annor Dompreh, do you know, say he was on the board of ECG? Do you know? The minority chief whip, Habib, do you know he was also on the board of ECG? The minority leader, Afenyo Markin, these people. Come out. Do you know these three people who are leading the MPP today in Ghana? The minority. All these three people were on the board of ECG. Yeah. Crime now moving in our ECG. From the board now, I'm taking that decision now, mu cables, mo lights, mo bibiano. These three people who are leading the MPP today in parliament, all these three people were on the board of ECG. Time my issue when you know AC, Annor Dompreh was on the board, Afenyo Markin was on the board, and Habib Iddrisu, the minority chief whip, he was also on the board. It is a minority in parliament. If they have refused to speak on this ECG matter, then it means they are front. They know the three of them, they can all end up in jail. Now let's go back and show how they did the plan and why they are quiet. These are dangerous people. You never listen to MPP or anybody speaking for MPP. Because you see, party is a disease. Now let's go back. You're starting free. You see, in 2022, Chenye, Napo, in 2022, Napo was the energy minister. Me chira baby a plan free. Mamim biem. In 2022, Napo was the energy minister. The deputy energy minister, ne Ejapa Mesa. And the second deputy, near friend Williams Owusu Edu. Now, when you go to ECG board, Tamana Napo energy minister now, it was Kelly Gajepo. The MD of ECG was Dubik Mahama. And then Annor Dompreh was a board member of ECG in 2022. Did you know? Yeah. Annor Dompreh today is the minority leader, deputy minority leader in parliament for the NPP. He is deputy to Afenyo Markin. So in 2022, and the Kudientia want to say Annor Dompreh ECG no one sem omonya press conference. The front of the NPP, they have moved away from that conversation is because they were the ones who orchestrated the crime. In 2022, now Annor Dompreh was sitting on the board of ECG. All the decisions that were being taken, Annor Dompreh was part of it. And you do not think, say, NPP, Afenyo Markin quickly coming out to tell you, say, oh, you know, Ghanaians, let us all solve the ECG problem as a nationalistic thing. Or boy, they are the ones who did the damage. They are the ones who connived and teamed up our ECG boss and ECG to destroy a ECG. Into Napo, Energy Minister, 2022. Ejapa Mesa, Deputy Energy Minister. And Mr. Edu, second deputy. Now, but ECG boss na Kelly Gajepo, na Dubik Mahama as the MD of ECG, and Annor Dompreh. Now, here. Now, when you come to 2023, something happened. In 2023, changes were made. Remember, this is the same group. And the Omokacho said, Dumusaba, Monso Kanyano, Mamen chamo. Sa video na buko hu no eye insawadu ejire no. Sa nyoma ni nyina ya no Dompreh dia. He stole it from ECG. Because he was on the board of ECG. Yeah. 2023. In the year 2023, Nanapo and a energy minister. And na omu change ejapamesa. And omude obi a friend Herbert Krapper ebe share as deputy. Remember, 2022, ejapamesa was the deputy to Napo. Omuba 2023 no, and omu change ejapamesa and omude Krapper ebe share and they maintained the second deputy minister, Edu, as energy ministry. In Napo State, they changed Ejapamesa and the Krapper, Herbert Krapper Besheho, and omu maintaining second deputy energy minister. Now, over ECG in 2023, did anything happen? In 2023, Kaligajapo was still there. Herbert Dubik Mahama was still there as the MD. Annor Dompreh in 2023 was still a member of the ECG board. Or a criminal guy. And engineers don't say ECG as some wakembi. That is why they have moved. That is why they don't want that conversation to go on. That is why today you don't see them having press conferences to be demanding ECG containers na irano because posts ni cables na irano a women fire. And you see, it's so interesting. Say, it is the leadership of the minority today. They were the people who were sitting on the board of ECG. Now, when Ejapa was taken out, Ayade Herbert Krapper, something also happened. In 2024, Herbert Krapper, he was acting as the board chair March 2024. Herbert Krapper na obey a deputy to Napono. He became the acting board chair of ECG. Inti the same time now oya deputy to Napono. He became the acting board chair of ECG. If we say that Kaligajapo in March 2024 had resigned. Inti they brought Herbert Krapper from the ministry to be the acting board chair of ECG board. Into in 2024 March, now Annor Dompreh was still on the board of ECG. Now Dubik Mahama was still in post, was still at post because March 2024, now Dubik Mahama resigning yet. Now why not resigning? Kaligajapo. Into Omo Movie Krapper, who was the deputy energy minister, they made him the acting board chair of ECG. Into Sausha. Changes now, Bano, Krapper or top, the Krapper or down. He was acting as board chair and also the deputy minister in 2024 March. Team. Krapper be a board chair acting when Kaligajapo resigned as the board chair of ECG. It still, Annor Dompreh is constant from 2022, 2023, 2024. Annor Dompreh was on the board of ECG. Into all the decisions that were being taken, Annor Dompreh was sitting in there. Napo was in there. Dubik Mahama was in there. Now Krapper abe some substitution be which is not permanent. Now Ekufuado would need a board chair for ECG because Kaligajapo has resigned. Krapper is a deputy energy minister. He's acting as the board chair of ECG. Into MPP4 had to make some changes because they needed their cartels still to control ECG. So what did they do? This was in March 2024. So that time Napo MBF running mate to Edian Abozege. Napo was still the substantive energy minister. Don't get it wrong. March Napo da who is substantive energy minister. Now this is what happened. Make sure be a problem ni free. And into the MPP, they are not speaking about the ECG issue, no, because on front are criminals. They will all go to jail. Investigations are still ongoing. That is why they are mute. Now, I'm sure idea. Now, in November, you see, in November 2024, Satana Napo Eko Okakoye running mate ama dein, ama eye dein, ama eye MPP, ama Baumia. Into Napo left as the energy minister. Now, what they did was that they brought Krapper back to become the substantive energy minister. and the second deputy minister na ebeye the deputy. Now when it comes to the ECG boss, they moved Afenyo Markin to become the ECG board chair, and then this man called Kobna Ajimanbedu, ECG MD, because November not Dubik Mahama so resigning. Kaligajapo echo March, Dubik Mahama so echo close to elections, September thereabout. They needed a new MD for ECG. Into Omdi Afenyo Markin ebe share her as the board chair of ECG. They brought another person to replace Dubik Mahama, and what happens? They brought the deputy chief whip. Time na omo parliament, omo power no. Na acquire friend Habib Iddrisu, not or your majority chief whip, not or your third to Afenyo Markin. They brought that guy to be on the board of ECG. Into technically, Annor Dompreh has been on ECG boards for about 3 years. Now, you change Ayadian Kaligajepo resigning, Krapa Ako as a substantive minister because Napoko running mate, and the Afenyo Markin abeshaw. Now you ask, say, why na shem finfino? Dubik Mahama Soko into Yadi wine about Kwabena. Now, Kwamena. Now, share baby a trick in all. The reason why you are not seeing Annor Dompreh here and say, Afenyo Markin was the board chair of the road fund. Now, what they did was that they moved Annor Dompreh from the ECG board to go and take over at the road fund, and they brought Afenyo Markin from the road fund to be the board chair of ECG. Now, you see the trick. So, Annor Dompreh for about 3 years has been on the board of ECG. Now, they still needed their campaign in the front, one of them to come and handle ECG board. They had to take Annor Dompreh to substitute Afenyo Markin from the road fund board for Afenyo Markin to come here as a substantive board chair of ECG. Annor Dompreh left around November 20. He left before the elections to go ahead the road fund. Anything I won't say Habib abeshaw. So follow what they did. It was a simple chess they were playing with you. The NPP, as we speak today, now let me show you this. Obi Obeka say, there are some people who have doubts about these people. Now you see, Annor Dompreh joins ECG board July 30th, 2021. And I almost swear Annor Dompreh in as a board member of ECG. Ntebia, audience asama ye kano, ye kan dia hye Annor Dompreh kon. No. Sa pose na mu na aduejire no. Annor Dompreh dia. Or a lot of them, Kennedy Muobi, Afenyo Markin Muobi, they have stolen everything from the container. Inti, sir, Uko back to look at what actually happened now. Sir Habib and Afenyo Markin, they all came into the ECG or joined the ECG board in July 2024. Sanko for me and say we are only the MPP or parliament, they are the ones who destroyed ECG. These three criminals. It's ECG problem na yeka na nkofobia dina MPP form person mekasa oma dino. It is Habib who is the minority chief whip, Afenyo Markin who is also the minority whip, and then Annor Dompreh who is also the minority chief whip. Onne Afenyo Markin who is now the minority leader. These three people are the ones that the ECG cause shares our problem. That is why ECG container theft in the buy, they were saying, oh, wait there, a national issue. We should all come together and solve it. The Ben out is Annor Dompreh aka ECG as some hubi. Have you heard him speak on it? Have you ever heard this Habib guy speak on the ECG container theft? Afenyo Markin say, oh, guys, let us all come together as a people. No. Videos na muhuno. In some Kennedy kano. These people are the people who containers in our free ports. Almost setting up a company. Okay? This is when Habib Iddrisu was basically me chiramu evidence, no? But they are not Dompreh the chiramu. Okay. Habib was sworn in. Habib Dienini by Napo. Habib and Afenyo Markin were sworn in by Napo, the energy minister, to go sit on the ECG board in July 2024. So the MPP you are seeing right now, front, leadership, they are criminals. They are the corporates. ECG container theft now. That is why the NPP leadership, they have refused to speak on it. Investigations, they know that some of them will go to jail. And they don't even want to do press conference. Their communicators are not speaking on it. Social media, they don't want to speak on these things because the leadership must say NDC person will break MPP. I mean, good party no. Afenyo Markin is still begging behind the scenes. Afenyo Markin is begging. Habib, Annor, Dompreh, Afenyo Markin. These three criminals, these guys. Now, let me show you also on ECG website. They published it. Now, when you read ECG Ankasa website, what they wrote there, my man one kind. So if you saw about Mr. Afenyo Markin succeeded Mr. Krapa, who has been appointed as Minister of State at the Ministry of Energy. Mr. Krapa's elevation to his ministerial role was approved by Parliament after his nomination by President Akufo-Addo. Previously, Mr. Krapa served as the Deputy Minister for